Alright, so this is going to be a quick demonstration of the Seihai indicator for Senpō. So you're going to go ahead and open your indicators tab and scroll down after installing it. Double click on the Seihai, and here you are. The parameters here, these are my default values, but it's going to be mainly blank when you first open it. I'm just going to go from top to bottom. The minimum fair value gap size and maximum fair value gap size obviously is going to be the size of gaps that you're going to grab from. So by default it's 0, and the maximum number that can be a number in a computer. So this is going to grab every single gap no matter the size from all your time frames. So if you want to just grab gaps that are like greater than 40 ticks, you put 40 ticks here. For now I'm just going to keep it at 0. Show gaps obviously is going to show the gaps, and this is for just like the individual gaps for the time frames. The shrink option will shrink the fair value gap um, based on which levels of it have already been taken. The show close option will show fair value gaps have been closed, and then for the show 50% line, it's going to show the 50% line in each gap. For now, let me just put show gaps, shrink, show close. I'm going to put everything on. For the time frames here, you have up to 5 time frames. You can select whatever you would like here. I'm just going to stick with the minutes for now. If there's a 0 here, that means the time frame is not going to be in use. But I have it set up for time frame 1 is the 1 minute, time frame 2 is the 3 minute, time frame 3 is a 5 minute. And then you would set what colors you want for the up and down gaps. I just put a bunch of random colors in here, um, as well as the opacity for the gaps. And then finally, for the groups section, you have an option to plot your overlap gaps from these groups. So obviously the plot overlap gaps will plot them, and then here you can define your groups. The groups are going to be made up of these 5 time frames. So for example, my group 1 is made up of time frame 1, 2, and 3. So group 1 is going to be overlap gaps from that are only overlapping from all 3 of these time frames. Obviously you have the up and down gaps for overlap gaps, and then the highlight option will highlight uh, the edges of the overlap gaps, just to make it easier to see when there's a lot on the screen. And then you have the option for the 50% line. So once you have it configured how you like, you can go ahead and click templates, save, enter in a name for your template, and click save. So then whenever you open it again, you can just click template, load, click on your template, and then load it. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the chart. It's about 5 days of data. You can see in the top left it's calculating. It's going to take a little bit. But then we get all this crap on the screen. And this is just because I have everything enabled at the moment. So as you can see, for example, like over here, the gaps, when certain levels of the gaps are taken, the gap will shrink until it gets closed over here. And then we are also showing all the 50% lines, which are these lines here in the gaps. Obviously this is like a lot to look at, so you can simplify it, but just to show you that, this is with everything enabled. As you can see, these white, like defined borders, these are the overlapping gaps. So it's a lot easier to see it on the chart when you have a lot going on. Like this is an overlap gap. But to tone it down a bit, I can maybe not show the closed gaps. So you can see the chart is a lot more tame now. We just have the gaps that currently haven't been closed yet. You can see really easily, like this is a gap right here. You can see price went up into it a little bit from over here, and pretty nice reaction off here as well. So that's great. So yeah, this is a really powerful indicator. A lot you can do with it. A lot of options in the settings as well. Um, I think Senpō said he just likes seeing the overlap gaps, so you can disable, uh, showing these gaps altogether. And there you go, you'd be left with just the overlapping gap. So um, makes it even simpler, even cleaner. So yeah, any questions, just let me know.